can I make a very big welcome to our speaker, first of all, Professor Shoshin Ichishima, but also to these 100th Buddhist Society anniversary lectures, with gratitude to the Numata Foundation, who helped us with the funding, and also to our wonderful speakers that we've had so far. I should say that it is now 2:30 in Japan, so our speaker has made some sacrifice to be with us tonight. And it's also extremely hot in Japan, unlike here. It's been quite cold today, chilly, but in Japan it's very hot. But I'd like to welcome you all too, and I know there are people from everywhere who are here tonight, and a very, very big welcome. I've been very much looking forward myself to these lectures, particularly this one, because I can hardly think of anyone more qualified than our speaker, than Professor Ichishima. I should say a little bit about him. He was born in 1939. He's the abbot of Sensoji Temple in Japan, one of the great Tendai temples. He's a professor emeritus of Taisho University, and he's a chief curator of Taisho University Library. He's a director of comparative culture at the university, and he started his career as a missionary to Hawaii, which gave him the opportunity to get some familiarity with Westerners and the kind of problems that Westerners, generally speaking, have with religion in general, and particularly with Buddhism. And during that period, he made an important translation along with some other people, which perhaps we'll touch on during the course of these talks. He's a lecturer at the Department of Religion at Hawaii University, visiting associate professor of Oriental Studies at Berkeley, California, and he's a guest lecturer also at Berkeley, California. And he's made several, or quite a few, significant publications in his field. So I won't waste any more time, but just a few notices, though, before we actually settled on to this talk, and that is to do with questions. Now, there's two ways of doing that. One is to go on the chat thing there, and you send it to the Buddhist Society online. You put in your question, that'll be forwarded to me. Or if you want to, otherwise, you can just put up your hands. I think for those people who are not shy, if you can sort of turn on your camera, because it makes it easier for the lecturer, for our speaker to actually address the audience. Because one does, when one is speaking, you respond to what's happening in the audience, even if it's online and many thousands of miles away. There is a kind of response, there's a magical response to the audience. But I'll leave it at that. I can't think of anything particularly to add. The other thing is there will be seminars in the autumn, because these talks are going to be quite dense. There's going to be a lot of information here, and many of us will be very interested. I should say, first of all, about Tendai, it's a very important tradition. It's probably it is probably the foundation tradition of all the religions that we now have in Japan that are being practiced. Should say also that all the religions from mainstream Buddhism that started in India itself drifted across through Tibet, China, and so on, and they ended up Korea. They ended up all in Japan, in one way or another. Japan, because of its respect for cultural things, has preserved all these religions. But anyway, without more ado, I think we should start these talks now with a big thank you to you, Professor. Thank you so much for coming online and doing them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Dr. Desmond Biddulph, President of this Buddhist Society, Reverend Kemmyo Taira Sato, Director of the Society, and Dharma friends. Thank you for your invitation to the 100 years anniversary for founding the society. I'm happy to introduce Japanese Tendai Buddhism this evening. Well, Tendai is not known so much in the world, I think, but anyhow, Japanese Tendai, founded by Saicho, really, what shall I say? became mother of Japanese Buddhism in a sense, because he insisted Ekayana or Buddhayana system of Buddhism, unlike the previous one. And so I think Saicho, the founder of Japanese Tendai Buddhism, really wanted everyone be enlightened. Welcome to the, Buddha Yana. So this is based upon the lotus teaching expounded by Shakyamuni Buddha. And if you want to study Tendai Buddhism in Japan, I can recommend Taisho University and also Eizan Gakuin, that is college, and the foot of the Mount Hiei, Sakamoto, Shiga Prefecture. And also the Mount Hiei is a head center of training of Tendai Buddhism. And any of the Japanese Tendai Buddhist priest or to be Buddhist priest should train at Mount Hiei at least 2 months. And beside, there are practitioners, a 12 years secluded life at the Jodo-in temple where founder Saicho sleeps. And also the training of running marathon, sometimes called, that is Mudoji Dani, where people really practice based upon Vairochana or esoteric teachings. Well-known practice that the pilgrimage around the Mount Hiei, 36 miles in a day. So that is very heavy training. These are optional for the priest. Well, would you please show my PowerPoint? Okay, next, please. Okay, this is Tendai Daishi, Chinese actual founder of Tendai Buddhism. He's said to be the fourth patriarch of Chinese Tendai because, Zi, based upon the teaching of Madhyamika, initiated by Nagarjuna, very famous scholar. Nagarjuna, he was around 150 to 250 Beiguri. Anyway, he was really founder of Mahayana Buddhism. I think, especially Madhyamika. That is, Madhyamika means emptiness or not depending things. Everything is dependent origination and cause and relations. Therefore, emptiness, sunyata theory, really important for Nagarjuna. So, in a sense, Nagarjuna is the first of the Tendai Daishi, and then Huiwen, Emon in Japanese, and Huishu Eshi, 515 to 577, and Zi transmitted. So, but famous for being the first in the history of Chinese Buddhism to elaborate a complete and critical and systematic classification of the Buddhist teachings. Very famous one is Makashikan, Great Treatise on Concentration and Insight. And according to later Korean Buddhist monk Jae Guan, he says, would you please show the next, please proceed to next slide. But Ji insisted kind of 3,000 realities in a single moment of consciousness. This is a very famous phrase for Tentai Daishi GE. So please go on the next paragraph. Next PowerPoint, please. Okay. Here, 5 periods of the life of Buddha, Tendai Buddhism, an outline of the fourfold teachings recorded by Korean Buddhist monk Jae around 10th centuries. You know, the Chinese Buddhism disappeared from the China around the middle of 9th century because of persecution of Buddhism occurred. And so Chinese emperor dispatched the envoy to Korea and Japan to reintroduce Tendai system Buddhism materials to motherland China. From Japan, nobody, no response, but from Korea, Jae or Taikan in Japanese, he was invited, and he really restored Chinese Tendai system in terms of 5 periods of the life of the Buddha. According to his theory, the period of the Huayan Sutra, Buddha Avatamsaka, or Gandava Yuha Sutra, Kegongyo in Japanese, first, Shakyamuni Buddha enlightened this kind of idea of the Avatamsaka or Gandava Yuha Sutra style. The universal things includes himself. So many is identical to one. One is identical to many. So this theory, quite vague, but really he really enlightened himself, selfless things. Everything is there. And he told his first disciples, 5 bhikshu, but nobody understands such a broad awakening. So, Buddha realized that they must educate themselves. So he spoke or expounded more easier way at the period of Deer Park, current Sarnath in India, in which 4 agamas, Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, Buddhaka Nikaya are taught. And so gradually the people, 5 bhikshu realized, getting understanding. So next stage is third period, the period of expounded by Puriya teaching, in which way more, this is Vimala Kirti Sutra, etc., Rencha, Lankavatara Sutra, etc., were taught. So gradually the listener's mind really ripened. The next stage, the period of wisdom, in which the various wisdom sutra were taught, such as Prajna Paramita, Panchavinshati Sahasrika Prajna Paramita, Vajra Shedika, etc. Prajna Paramita concerned Edward Conde. He's a very authority, and everybody knows him very well, I think. And I heard that he's one of the founders of the Buddhist Society in London, together with D.T. Suzuki. Both of them I'm very familiar with when they are surviving. Finally, the fifth, the period of the Lotus and Nirvana Sutra. So finally, Lotus and Nirvana Sutra taught. As you know, the Lotus Sutra says that everyone, those who listen to the Dharma, and anyone became a Buddha. So that is totally everybody should be enlightened equally. So this is his last stage. And these 5 stages also compared to the taste of the milk. 5 periods are also called the 5 flavors associated with fresh milk comes from the cow. In this case, cow is a Buddha. Buddha produces, milk first, and then milk, cream is produced from the fresh milk, then curds, butter, and ghee. So ghee is Japanese daigomi, fantastic taste. Actually, ghee is, I don't know, very tasty or not, but anyway, so these systems are compared to the such a flavors. Next paragraph, please. Okay. I just mentioned 3,000 realities in a single moment of consciousness, the theory of GE, Chinese founder. This theory of 3,000 comes like this. The 10 realm of living beings. First, the realm of hell. The second, realm of hungry ghost. Third, animals. And fourth is the realm of Asura, fighting spirit. The fifth, the realm of men. Sixth, realm of heavenly beings. And Shravaka, sharer of the Buddha. Realm Pratyeka Buddha. 9 is the realm of bodhisattva. Finally, realm of Buddhas. So these are basic 10 realms of living beings. Excuse me. And these 10 realms, each realm contains 10 realms. So this is called the Jikkai Gogu. Each of the 10 realms mutually contains the other 9, according to each of 10 realms, from hell up to the Buddha realm, contains in itself other 9 realms. And so 10 by 10 makes 100, okay? And then Junyoze, 10 suchness in the Lotus Sutra. The 10 suchness aspect, the 10 reality aspect of each and every existence, excuse me. The Junyoze, the 10 suchness aspect, the 10 reality aspect of each and every existence established in the Tendai sect based on the Lotus Sutra. That is, first is a form, second, nature, third is substance of thing itself, and 4 is function, and 5, action or motion, 6, cause, and 7, indirect cause or condition, 8, effect, 9, reward or retribution, and 10, ultimate non-exist, non-differentiation of the above 9 aspects from the viewpoint of the triple Santai, which pervades all existence. So this makes 1,000 maybe. So 10 by 10 is 100. 100 by 10 makes 1,000. So 1,000 realities each people have, and also surroundings have, and so like this. So I think based upon the trinity of awareness, 3,000 realities in a single moment of consciousness occurred. Okay, next, please. Number 5. These are 2 figures. Left is Saicho, Dengyo Daishi. He is a founder of Japanese Tendai. And these two figures are at our temple. And please look at his palm style, meditation style, right palm on the left palm. This is different from Zi's style. Right person is Zi, Chinese Tendai founder. In his case, left hand on the right palm, okay? So what is the difference? This is very interesting. In the case of Tendai-Ji, he has also weight on his top, which means closing eyes while he's meditating. And then he feels sleep. Then, naturally weight drops down to his leg. So aware like this. And so in the case of Chinese Tendai system, this is connecting to Zen system. In the Zen system of the meditation, always left on the right. Do you understand the meaning? In the case of this, right hand is very active hand, the moving mind. And left is calming. So in order to stop moving mind, the left palm places on the right palm. So this is a Zen style or Chinese style. While the Saicho, his case is different, opposite. Right palm on his left palm, which means right palm is prajna. And this is a system of Indian style shamatha vipassana meditation. So in India or esoteric Buddhism, the meditation right hand on the left hand, which means wisdom emphasized. And left hand is skillful means. So how to produce, what shall I say, produce such a skillful means to save all sentient beings. This is the purpose of meditation. So the Saicho followed that way. So it is very interesting, the difference of the palm gesture or mudra, we call it, hand gesture. Okay, next please. Saicho Dengyo Daishi, he's a founder of Japanese Tendai, ordained at his 14th, and took full monastic precept when he was 20 at the Todaiji Temple in Nara, received the Pratimoksha 250 precepts, and retreated to Mount Hiei and established Tenryakuji Temple later, 806, I'm sorry, January 26. That is the founding of Mount Hiei, 806. He traveled to China, 808, not 803, this is 804. He traveled to China to study and acquire text. In 806, Imperial Court recognizes Tendai Shu, actually. So, as I said right before, Japanese Tendai Buddhism really founded 806, January 26. Saicho debated against Tokuitsu. Tokuitsu is a Fosso monk. Fosso monk, at that time, he was staying at the Tsukuba-san mountain in Kanto area. And he resisted that against Saicho's idea of Ekayana. Because Tokuitsu Fosso sect, he insisted triple yanas and bodhisattva yanas, etc. And everyone should practice long time. Not easily to awaken to be Buddha. etc. So naturally, such debates followed. And so he reviewed and he wrote the Kenkairon, revealing precepts later. We have 3 volumes by Saicho. And to 822 AD, Saicho enters Parinirvana. And 7 days later, the imperial court grants his petition to establish a Mahayana ordination platform at Mount Hiei. The recent studies about this date, actually, 1 day before his death, court emperor permitted his wishes of establishing bodhisattva precept center at Mount Hiei, publicly shown 1 week later, so 7 days after his death. So this is a very scholastic service. So next, please. Basis of Saicho's Ekayana. Phoenix Light of the Dharma, lit by Saicho in 806 AD, one of the 6 Phoenix Dharma Light, Fumetsu no Hoto. This is located at Enryakuji, Kompon Chudo. And he says, keep the appear in this world. In Japanese, akirakeku nochi no hotoke no mio made mo hikari tsudae nori no tomoshibi. So we have Japanese saying yudan taiteki. That is from this, overconfidence is the greatest enemy. So the priest or monks working there very careful about always keep writing this Dharma light using oil. So this is very interesting. I think everybody knows in Japan that Yudan Taiteki, but this is from this fact of eternal light. Next, please. Regulations for the Tendai Hokke annually allotted students, Rokujoshiki, regulation in 6 articles from the Sangegak Shoshiki by Saicho. This is a petition letter to the court to be accepted, his wishes to have Ekayana system. So the 3rd article says, every day throughout the years, while they reside on Mount Hiei, those in the meditation course shall be, excuse me, required to chant extensively and to lecture on the Lotus Sutra and the Sutra of Golden Light, the Sutra of Benevolent Kings, the Sutra concerning Dharani to protect the ruler, and the other Mahayana sutras which protect the nation. So this is Saicho's wishes to have such courses at Mount Hiei. Next, please. The 4 teachings, perfect, esoteric, Zen, and precepts. So such a comprehensive studies of Buddhism is a symbol of Saicho's practice. Saicho traveled to China 804, visiting Mount T'ien-t'ai. He obtained these major teachings, including the core of the 3,000 realities in a single moment of consciousness, Ichinen Sanzen. He also received esoteric transmission, as well as the transmission of new Toho, Gozu-zen, Ox-head Zen. The Saicho decided to build a Mahayana precept platform at Mount Hiei in accordance with the Brahma net Sutra, Bonmokyo, 10 major and 48 minor precepts. Modern Tendai focuses on 4 major streams of practice: meditation, pure and devotion, esoteric practice, and scholarly study. So, theory and practice must be together. That is, I think, Saicho's wishes. So, of course, theory is very important, but without practice, nothing coming out. Okay, next stage, please. This is fourth article. There are 2 types of Buddhist ordinations. The first type of ordination is that which takes Mahayana precept as its foundation. 3 teachers and witness are invited to be present. This is specified in the Sutra of Meditation on Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. Shakyamuni Buddha is asked to serve as a preceptor for the Bodhisattva precepts, while the Bodhisattva Manjushri is asked to serve as the conductor of the ceremony. And Bodhisattva Maitreya is asked to be the instructor of the Bodhisattva precept. The Buddhas of the 10 directions are asked to serve as witness of the conferers of the Bodhisattva precept, and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions are all asked to be fellow students of the person receiving the Bodhisattva precept. Karma Acharya means Katsumashi. The person actually serves to give precept to the preceptor. So this is a Mahayana system of the precept. How do we, perceive the precept from the teacher? So a preceptor should be Shakyamuni Buddha. So on behalf of Shakyamuni Buddha, someone from the Mount Hiei comes, and he, on behalf of Shakyamuni Buddha, behind, he gives ordination or precept to the preceptor. So this is a Mahayana system. So just I added that Sangegak Shoshiki, this is Taisho or Tripitaka number, and pages are follows. According to the recent research, the proposal to establish the ordination based on the Bodhisattva precepts was accepted 1 day before Saicho's death on June the 3rd, 822 AD. Permission was publicly issued a week after Saicho's death on June the 4th. So June the 4th is Saicho's day. So we do it, Sange. Sange is a mountain house. Tendai is called the mountain house because mountain school, unlike urban Buddhism in Nara. In the case of Nara, the Sogo monks are so, what shall I say? They have power, and so Kanmu Tenno emperor hated such pressure from the monks. That's why he moved the capital finally to Kyoto. Okay, go on next paragraph. Next, Ekayana versus the three vehicles. Excuse me. Tokuitsu, his Hosso sect, held the Hosso view, insisting that there are 5 mutually distinct natures possessed by the sentient beings. According to the Hosso view, As a result of their spiritual capacities, it is impossible for some sentient beings to attain Buddhahood. Based on his reading of the Lotus Sutra, Saicho, however, held that there will be no one who will not become a Buddha. This is the BDK Tripitaka series, Lotus Sutra, page 45. 99. Never, this is a page number, I'm sorry. Never has there been any being who, after hearing the law of those leaders shall not become Buddha. This is BDK's Lotus Sutra number. And this is also, we can see in the Sanskrit original of the Lotus Sutra, chapter 2, skillful means skillfulness, page 53, Sadharma Pundarika, or the Lotus of the True Law, translated by Perun, Max Muller, volume 21, Dover edition, 1963. And the Chinese letter, it says, Jakuyu Monposha, Muitsu Fujobutsu, according to, this rendering by Sakamoto Yukio in Iwanami Bunko. もし法を聞くものあらば、一人として成仏せざるはなしと。So, 無一不成仏。But,徳一 read different way. 無の一人は成仏せずと。Although they say everyone become Buddha, but among nothingness, such a Gotra was very Chantika, who is difficult to attain Buddhahood. So that is a theory of Tokuitsu Hosso. Next paragraph, please. Now, Ennin, Jikaku Daishi. He's the third Zasu of Mount Hiei. He's also very important, prominent person in the history of Tendai Buddhism in Japan. He was encountered persecution, that is, Kaisho no Honan, during 842 to 845. During his stay in China, from 837 to 847, wrote 7-volume commentaries on Tattva Sangraha, Kongo Chokyo, and 7-volume commentaries on Sushidhi Karamati Sutra, that is Soshitsuji Kyo. As a result, later, annually allotted students for Tendai added each text and commentary, spread the, and later Ennin spread the Godai-san Nembutsu, constantly walking Nembutsu at Mount Hiei. This is from Utaishan Mountains in China. He stayed there and he learned Nembutsu theories. This is the beginning of entering Nembutsu to Japan, centered at Jongyo-do Saito. In the Mount Hiei, there is a west tower, as we call it Saito, where Benkei no Ninaido, 2 halls coexisted together, and there is a bridge between Hokkedo and Jogyodo. According to the legend, Benkei, he has so good, powerful, and he can carry both halls on his shoulder. That horse is why Jogyodo and Hokkedo called Ninaido. So he spread the Godai-san Nembutsu, constantly walking Nembutsu, centered at Jongyo-do Saito, Mount Hiei. Professor Edwin O. Reischauer, very famous scholar, he was once ambassador to Japan. He wrote Ennin's Diary, record of the pilgrimage to China in search of the law, Ronald Press, New York, 1955, and Ennin's travel in Tang, China. Uh, I, when he was at Harvard University, this was his doctoral thesis. He read through all Ennin's diary. He stayed in China almost nearly 10 years. And at that time, he encountered such a terrible persecution of Buddhism. And so he always, he changed his style not to be a Buddhist priest, but he would like to keep Buddhist style. Therefore, he invented his style of Wagesa. This is, we call it the Loop Kesa, Wagesa. This was founded by this person, Jikaku Daishi Ennin. So Ennin's contribution is a lot. And because, the Saicho's esoteric system is rather weak against the, Kukai. So Ennin, successor Ennin, he really put the emphasis on studying and practicing a lot of the esoteric rituals. So really his amazing success was wonderful. And so Taimitsu, Tendai Mikkyo, esoteric system of Tendai really ripened. Next paragraph is Enchin, okay? Next, please. Enchin, China, number 13. His also successor right after Ennin, Chisho Daishi, he's called Chisho Daishi. And traveled to China 853 to 858 AD. His mother, Chisho Daishi Enchin's mother, was from Saiki family. That is same family as Kukai. So kind of relative between Kukai and Enchin. And he taught that Mahavairochana and Shakyamuni, as he is revealed in the lifespan of Tathagata, chapter of the Lotus Sutra, are equal. Life Sutra, that is means, the Lotus Sutra says such a eternal life of the Buddha. And in the case of Tomitsu, why it is called Tomitsu? Because Saicho spread Dharma at Toji Temple near Kyoto Station. And he's a very superior person of esoteric Buddhism. But in order to fulfill such, weak system, weak part of Tendai esoteric Buddhism, Ennin and Enchin really paid a lot of energy and build up such a fantastic system of Taimitsu. And next, please. The theory, maybe we'll talk about it later again, but Tendai system, we have very interesting Hongaku Shiso, the theory of original thought of enlightenment. And especially Eshin So's Genshin, he wrote Ojo Yoshu, Born to the Pure Land. He really addressed this kind of, gata that Hongak-san, I take refuge in the Dharmakaya, the mind of original enlightenment. The marvelous Dharma always reside on the lotus petals of the mind, and triple views of Buddhakaya innately adorn our mind. The 37 honored ones dwell in the place of the mind. Countless universal gates which arise in our daily lives are free from cause and effect. Boundless sea of virtue is originally perfect. Fully, recently, reverently, I salute the Buddhas of the mind. So this Ekayana system is sometimes degeneration, but this Hongak Shiso is very interesting. And next, please. There is not a single color or saint that is not the middle way. This is from Tendai Daishi's Makashikan, Clear Serenity, Quiet Insight, translated and commentary by Paul Swanson, Great Cessation and Contemplation, Makashikan. This is a famous passage in Japanese, Ishiki Ikko Mubi Chudo. Even a single color or saint, ikko, movie chudo. Chudo ni arazaru wa nashi. Everything is middle way. So that is from this G's Makashikan. And we read Endon almost every day in our chant. And this is a symbolic phrase that everything is equal, everything is not different from enlightenment. Even grass or trees, they have Buddha nature. So this is a sort of enlightenment. And an absolute confirmation of phenomenal world that in effect denied necessity of Buddhist practice and legitimated evil conduct. According to the Jackie Stone's, I think, Tendai Hongaku Soten, the new Kamakura period, page 190, Jacqueline Stone, Original Enlightenment and Transformation of Medieval Japanese Buddhism, University of Hawaii Press, 1999. I think this one. So this is the Jacqueline Stone. She is a very good promise scholar. I think she was teaching at university a long time, and she came to visit me several times while she was teaching at the university. And I invited her when she was young to Taicho University as a visiting scholar for about 1 year. And so almost every year he visits our Taicho University library. So she can read even a very classic Japanese pretty well, better than Japanese sometimes. So amazing scholar was exactly Stone. And well, there are several scholars. Always, I invite them to Taisho University as a visiting professor. And Paul Groner, who wrote Saicho, this is very famous. This is his work on Saicho. This is amazing book. He translated well that such a Sangikak Shoshiki pretty well in this book. And he's my good friend. He visited our temple several times. And about 50 years ago, I was a missionary to Tendai Mission, Honolulu, Hawaii. At that occasion, before visiting Hawaii, Gronan told me that his alumni of the Yale University David Chappell. He's in the University of Hawaii Religion Department. So please take care of him, he said. So when as soon as I arrived in Hawaii, I met him and we promised to translate Tentai fourfold teachings from Chinese to English language every week. So Tendai Shikyogi, Tentai fourfold teachings in English coming out later. And that was the very first step of translate Tendai in English language. Then Paul Groner followed, and he published a fantastic book on Saicho. At that time, I helped him to publish this book from Berkeley. And Japanese Tendai School assisted, what should I say, so that he can publish this book from California. And so unfortunately, David Chappell passed away. Really, I miss him. His contribution toward Japanese Tendai is great, I think. Grona is still alive, of course. He's an amazing person. He also published Ryogen and Mount Hiei. This book, Ryogen and Mount Hiei. Ryogen is Ganzan Daishi around 10th centuries. He's a senior monk of the Eishin Sozu Genshin, the teacher. And Ganzan Daishi is my protector in a sense. And when I was born, 1939, my father was a practitioner at Mount Hiei, walking around the mountain, Kaihogyo. At that occasion, the cedar tree at the tomb of the Ganzan Daishi fell down by the storm. And based upon the cedar tree, they made 3 statues of Ganzan Daishi. One of the statues was given to my father for the celebration of, what shall I say, congratulation of my birthday. And still I have it. I do the Hondo about his statues. And when I was just 3 years old, he couldn't, of course, speak any language, but approached to the statues and paid homage with gasho. So everybody surprised, and some of them saw my hands, palm hands. Then he read, "Oh, this is gun." So nowadays, a little bit degenerated, but the gun, beginning Gantan no Gan. So Ganzan Daishi was, since that time, Ganzan Daishi has been my protector of life. When I was 49 years old, I almost passed away. I was in hospital bed for 3 months, almost dying. And I had a strange dream that when I just tried to go to other world, the first step, you see, there is a fire river from right to left. And there is a bridge, and walking on the bridge, then I heard someone crying, "Ichishima sensei, help me." What happened? And I looked at her, then she was my student at the Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, when I was there, you see. And oh my God, you see. So, but I have no power, so I don't have anything at that time. Therefore, could you wait while I'll be back from the living world? to help you to rescue you with slope. So please wait. Can you wait? Yes, she said. So I promised. Therefore, I tried to come back to this word. This word is called, living word is called the Saha word. In Sanskrit, Saha means Shabasekai in Japanese. Shaba, why it is called Saha, Shabasekai? This is enduring land. So our living world should be always endure, must have endurance. This is very important. It was very hard for me try to come back to this word, the Saha word. But other word is rather easy to go. We say gokuraku. And anyway, uh, finally I touched the ground of this word. Then I waked up. I'm released from this world. If I at that time, if I said, "I'm sorry, I'm so tired, so I couldn't help, I cannot help you," then I'm not here. I think compassion is very important. I really felt. So Mahayana Buddhism or any Buddhism, first compassion must work. See, later I will talk about someday later about esoteric Buddhism. And according to my Mahavairochana Sutras, compassion is very basis, it says. So this rendering compassion and bodhicitta and upaya, skillful means, these are very important factors of esoteric Buddhism described in the Dainichikyo Mahavairochana Sutra. Kukai's theory really based upon this. But it is quite interesting that recently I found documents, the translation, that the original text of the Mahavairochana text, you see, quoted by the Kamarashira around the 8th century's great bodhisattva in India. He debated against Mahayana Passion in Tibet to decide whether, King Chisonde-sen at that time, early 9th century, he must decide either Chinese style of meditation or Indian style meditation comes first, because predecessor of the king, he had the Chinese wife and Indian wife. And so naturally, they have, Indian style of the temples and Chinese style of temples really, fighting each other. So Tisonde-sen, the king, must decide which side Tibetan Buddhism should adopt, either Indian side or Chinese side. So he invited Kamarashira from India and to debate against Mahayana Panchen. As a result of the debate, Mahayana Panchen was defeated, and Kamarashira's side, or Indian style meditation, became a national religion of Tibet since that time on. I'll discuss about it later, next stage probably. And maybe I've talked almost about 1 hour. So I think I should stop around here. So if you have questions, please ask me. Thank you for auditing. Hello? Should I continue more?
No, I think we can, because we can go on tomorrow, can't we? Not tomorrow, next week in our next talks.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just take your time. I think this is the first talk. And so let's see what we've got in terms of questions.
Mm-hmm.
There is a question from Kim, but it's a very general question. Let's see how it goes. How do I integrate practice into my work? He says.
How?
Do I integrate practice into my
Oh.
work? I mean, that is all. It's a rather simple, rather straightforward, simple question. I don't know how relevant to the actual lecture that you're giving, which is on the history of Tendai. But anyway, that's his question.
Okay. Practice and also theory and practice always must be together. So I see our mind is very important, but we should educate our own mind itself. You see, mind is always changing. So if we listen to the Dharma or more wonderful talks, etc., then that will really enhance your mind growing. And so this is also one of the Yogacara system by Asanga around the 5th century. He was a pioneering scholar of Yogacara mind system. And he has brother, Basbandhu, and sometimes they meet together at in old India. At that time, Asanga, he encountered birds, especially, I think, goose. You understand goose? It's one of birds who eat grasses. And Indian goose can fly over Himalaya ranges. And the Indian goose travels to central, now Pakistan area, and hatched egg and grow, what should I say, nurtured baby. At that time, he noticed that, goose baby can drink only milk out of water. Mother goose kind of vomit maybe milk like in the water. Milk and water mixed together. It is very difficult for men to separate milk and water. You see, for instance, maybe cafe ore, you see, milk and coffee, we cannot divide. But the goose baby can separate milk out of water. When I was very young, middle school, at that time, my father told me to pick up the grasses of the Kedai, you see, temple yard. It was very hard task, and I told about this to my friend. Then my friend told me that why don't you have a goose? The goose can, eat grasses instead of you, and also produce eggs every other day, 3 times bigger eggs than chickens. And so I get two goose. But owners told me, see, this is too young and baby, so sometimes give them milk, but they cannot drink milk itself. But when milk mixed together with water, then easy to drink only milk out of water. That was amazing, what should I say, my first experience to notice that kind of thing in my childhood, middle school. And then I grew up, and at the university, I studied Yogacara system by Asangas. And then I found that word, the drink, goose baby, goose drinks milk out of water. This is, problem of first, what should I say, his founding of the Yogacara Araya Vijnana. You understand? Vijnana is awareness, consciousness. We have generally store consciousness. Everything we can stock memory in our mind. But the good and bad things really accumulate in our mind. How to separate goodness and badness? This is because of hearing Dharma. Then hearing Dharma, then your good, what shall I say, karmic connection or growth. And then you can really live nice way. So this is my really shocking, and this is why I studied Yogacara system first at the university. But I still remember such a story when I was young. And you see, in the world, very interesting that the whale, whale, the big fish in the ocean, whale baby can drink only milk out of sea water. I'm surprised when I look at some TV that, how to raise a baby in the ocean by whale. Then baby whale attacks just to mother's nipple, then milk coming out of mother. Then, baby whale can drink only water out of seawater. This is amazing. We cannot separate milk and seawater, but the whale can do it. Same way, goose baby can do it. It is quite amazing. That is surprising, my experience. Is that good for you? Question?
Very good.
Sorry, my English is getting poor. I have been away from English for long years.
Now, the next question, it's quite a few questions have suddenly come up. Could you tell us something of what occurred between Saicho and Kukai, please? From Julia Nelson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saicho also elder than Kukai, but when Kukai came back from China, Saicho noticed he's quite amazing. He brought a lot of amazing esoteric scriptures. So he wanted to be his disciple. You see, but the process of their relationship became worse. He dispatched some disciples to Kukai to learn esoteric system under Kukai. But Taihan, very famous guy, he never returned to Mount Hiei. And Saicho wrote a letter to his disciple Taihan, please come back and take after me. But instead, Kukai wrote a letter to Saicho. That is, no, I don't return to Mount Hiei. Micho is superior than exoteric. So that kind of things happens. And so the relationship between Saicho and Kukai separated completely at that time, from that time on. But anyhow, when, in the case of Saicho, he was dispatched to the China to, what shall I say, to study these exoteric, what shall I say, Madhyamika system from China. And but he had to return to Japan within a year or so. This is Gengakuso, kind of visiting scholarship like that. But in the case of Kukai, he was a student to travel to China. The same time, the Saicho and Kukai went to China. And in the case of Kukai, he has to stay 20 years at least in China to study Chinese Buddhism. But his teacher, Keika Ajari, passed away 2 years later. But before his death, Keika Ajari told Kukai, "Oh, you run, I gave you everything to you. So immediately return to Japan and spread the esoteric teachings." That's why he came back. But he against to the emperor's was order, so difficult to come back to central Kyoto at that time. He was staying in Kyushu. But Saicho asked the emperor, please, he brought wonderful things. He got so much wonderful esoteric teachings from China. So please welcome him, he suggested. Therefore, Kukai could come back to central Kyoto. That is a very interesting story. Is that okay? Understandable?
Yes, quite understandable. There is another question here from Seshin Clark. Thank you, Sensei, for taking the time to talk about Tendai Buddhism. Do you know whether the works of Saicho and Enin will be translated into English?
Oh, yeah. As I just said shortly, Edwin O'Reilly's Enin's diary. I think this is amazing. This is a translation from Enin's diary, and that is very important documents, historical documents to understand the persecution of Buddhism around 806 AD, 846 AD. So he stayed there, Enin stayed in China, as I said before, almost 10 years. And he really fulfilled the lacking part of Tendai Daishi, the Dengyo Daishi's work, and fulfilled esoteric part. And also succeeding to Enin, Enqing also spent 6 years in China, and also he paid attention too much to the, what should I say, esoteric side of Buddhism. And although later he, Enqing opened Midera, this is also line of Tendai, but the Sammon and Jimon. Sammon, mountain gate, that is Mount Hiei. Jimon, temple gate, this is Midera. Later, maybe some other days, I will talk about some of the pioneer scholar of American Tendai Buddhist priest, William Sturgis Bigelow. He came to Japan around the Meiji area. And he really became a Tendai monk. And his tomb is there at the Homyoin Temple, one of the Midera temple. And I paid a homage to visit him. So I will talk about this the last lecture. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, and there's another question here from Nico Miloncelli. He says, Ichishima Sensei, what impact did Isshin Ryu had in the history of Tendai? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Could you understand that?
Oh, repeat it.
He wanted to know. He said, "Thank you to you, of course, for your wonderful talk." But what impact did Isshin Ryu had in the history of Tendai?
Oh, Isshin Ryu. Okay,
Yeah.
this is also another day I will talk about Isshin's Isshin Ryu. This Isshin Ryu style kept in our temple, Sensoji, where I live. And I'll talk about Isshin's Namo Amida Butsu, so Amitabha worship. This is my grandfather really inherited that Isshin Ryu's stories. This is, you see, Namu Amida Butsu, Amida. So these three words in a triple, emptiness, provisional, and middle way. These are in that phrase. So I will talk about this next time. Okay.
And another question here from Kim. I think it's the same Kim as before. Is when enlightened people say this, what do they mean by that?
When enlightened
people say this, what do they mean by that? I'm not. Is Kim there? If you can put your hand up, Kim, you can wave. You can perhaps get a little more clarification on the question.
I'm sorry, I cannot get.
I don't quite understand the question myself, I have to admit. Is Kim there? Can you put up your hand? Have a look and see if I can see Kim. I've had a quick look through and I can't see you, Kim. I'm sorry. We'll have to come back to that tomorrow if that's okay. So from Jeffrey de Jong, is there an equal balance between sutra study, pure land practice, meditation, and esoteric rituals in Tendai, or does each monastic choose a specialization?
Yeah, they are all same in a sense of original sort of enlightenment. This is equal to everything. So sometimes very ambiguous maybe, but when we really settle down or calmness our mind, then we can feel some nature, you see. So even the grasses, trees, etc., they are really educating us, awaken myself itself. So this kind of theory of understanding nature, this is one of the original sort of enlightenment. I think this theory is sometimes bad, but sometimes enhance our growing mind. Thank you.
There's another question. It's from Justine Gillen, sorry, I beg your pardon. Did the Tibetans integrate the Bon beliefs at the same as they agreed to meditate in the Chinese style?
Yes, well, in Tibetan meditation, Bon religion is just like Japanese kami, Shinto, before Buddhism came to Tibet. And so Bon religion and Buddhism really, integrated sometimes. And the Numata, and that is also very historic, almost same time of the Saicho's time. Nima really discussing about such enlightenment. Is that okay?
I don't know if there's any subsequent other questions attached to that or not. If Justine is there, they can unmute. No. We can come back to we got time at the next few questions to continue with these. But Sean Bell has a question here. What were the reasons for the persecution of Buddhists in China?
Yeah, because in China there is Taoism that is like Shintoism in Japan, like in a sense. But Taoism and the Buddhism sometimes fighting together. And at the time of Wu Emperor, at the Kaisho no Honan, around 846 around, at the time of Ennin's traveling, he strongly believed in Taoism, and that's why he against Buddhism. Therefore, persecution of Buddhism occurred. So such a repetition occurred in China 3 or 4 times in the history. In Japan also, Meiji Restoration, very famous, 1868, and Buddhism is not Japanese religion, and Shinto is our religion. So Kokka Shinto, national Shinto, really grow up, and like such a, of fighting, etc., occurred. So this persecution of Buddhism sometimes really problematic, but at the same time, I think that is cause to develop religion itself. So yeah, Buddhism has a long, long history, 25,000 years. But I think Japan is a kind of museum to have all the element of Buddhist development from India, China, Central Asia, China, Korea, and Japan. For instance, nowadays in Japan, we call it obon, urabon-e. Urabon is, urambana in Sanskrit, upside down. When the Shakyamuni Buddha's disciple, Moggalana, he could use supernatural power of eyes to see in the other world. And one day he encountered his mother, passed away, of course. She was hanging down from the ceiling. And oh my God. And he approached to her, what do you want? I want water or melon, watermelon, etc. I'm very thirsty. Okay, so Mugarana brings some watermelon and tried to give watermelon to her mouth. Then as soon as watermelon touches her tongue, that turned out fire. So he couldn't do anything. So he returned to this world and asked the Shakyamuni Buddha, what is the best way to save her from such hungry ghost world? Okay, now this time is just stopped rainy seasons. So the monks in the cave, they now can leave the cave to ask, food. So why don't you share food to all such monks? And because that that donation, her mother could get out of hungry ghost world. This is called segaki, offering food to hungry ghost. This is a time of the season now, so please, we are very busy time now. So such story there. Okay, you understand?
It says, there's another question here. Thank you, Shoshin. I am a Zen Buddhist. How can I learn about Tendai? Could you give a suggestion of books? Well, what we could do is post some suggestions, for the next talk, so people can get hold of them that way, rather than go into that sort of detail now. I hope that's all right for you.
Okay.
Hey, Tao, that is. I hope that's okay. Now, there's a question here from Wongdu. He was wondering about the experience of leaving the physical body and walking over a bridge, then recognizing a student of yours who was upset on that bridge and feeling compassion that drew you back into this physical world. So this strong feeling of compassion for another meant you did not pass over, but returned. Is this what is referred to as a near-death experience? And is it important in your tradition? Oh, that's from Charlotte. Yes, it's Charlotte. Charlotte there you can put up her hand up. There's Charlotte, yeah. Hi, Charlotte. Did you understand the question?
Oh, sorry. Is this the talk my experience?
Yes,
Well,
your experience.
yeah, this is really amazing, and I felt that if I refused her proposal to help her out of the fire world, maybe I cannot be here. So when I first stepped to this Saha world, I really realized that, oh, this is amazing. So without compassion, we can't do anything, you see. Compassion must come very first. Just like our breathing in and out first occurs before, what shall I say, our heart. Of course, our heart is very important. Heart is supposed to be bodhisattva in Buddhism. And breathing in and out, this is compassion. So which must come first? Then without breathing, our heart doesn't work. So compassion is more important than our bodhicitta. So this is very interesting. I'll talk about this next talk. Okay?
Yeah. Is that all right, Charlotte? Yeah. And in what way have you changed from when you were younger through your years of practice?
Yeah. Well, just when I talked about the goose story, and so our mind development, very important. So like Asanga, Yogacharin in India, he really amazed at his story about Mahayana Sangraha. Maybe I'll introduce it later lecture. I think this is very, very important to understand our mind constructions. You see.
Yes, I think we have to go to the last question now, because it's 2:30 in the morning when you started, and it's now 4 o'clock, and you probably want to get some sleep. But just to say that tomorrow evening, we'll be talking second lecture on the theory of original thought of enlightenment.
Okay.
So we'll be talking on this subject. But can I thank you very, very much for your lecture, for introducing this introductory lecture today. Thank you very, very much indeed. And very much looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you will get a good night's sleep, a bit of sleep anyway.
Thank you very much.
Very, very much. And thank you to all of you for coming. I know the football is about to begin. Those of you who are desperate to watch the football match.
To disturb you.
It's wonderful to see you here. Anyway, thank you so much, and see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye now.